Hi.
I'd like to ask you today about emotions, and if they are, where they come from, and how they relate to being, as you said in your other videos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, a while ago you asked me about in an email regarding dimension.
I did.
The fifth dimension. Okay. And people are asking about entering the fifth dimension and what is going to happen after 2012. And the reason I'm mentioning this also because I can tie them both in as far as emotions go. You see, emotions become more refined as we evolve in our consciousness. So in order to tie it all up, I'd like you to listen very carefully so that it will be a direct experience as we do this, because emotions are not good or bad. They are a catalyst to get in touch with our being. The human part of us is emotion itself. Okay? You cannot separate the human from the emotion. They're both one. Emotion comes from the word emotion. Energy, motion, motion of energy. So, through the process of awareness, which is always with us and never changes, we accumulate impressions. So, every day, for example, you're accumulating hundreds of impressions. Since you were born, there are millions of impressions. And since we have lived other lifetimes prior to this one, imagine our whole DNA, every cell of your body is made up of these memories which become impressions on you, which again become thoughts. Thoughts become feelings. A feeling always, always, always impresses itself on the body. It is the emotions are body motion. Motion of energy in the body. So if right now somebody said, Burt, I just remembered, you didn't pay your rent yet, you know, you've got lots of money. So, oh my God. Yeah. And I can feel it in my body. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's an emotion, motion of energy. So, and our whole system is made up of emotions. But what I'd like to go into is your previous question about the different dimensions that we enter as we evolve, you see? Let's make it experiential, okay? I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
What would you say, what do you feel is the most important thing there is? Say anything, there's no wrong or right. We just go from there.
I guess everything I've ever experienced. Everything I've seen in the world.
Okay, so your experience is the most important thing there is.
I think so.
Okay, good. No, that's a good answer. Okay. Now, when you said my experience, weren't you referring to your experience?
Yeah, because I can't know anybody else's.
Very good. And how can you know your own experience unless you are aware of it?
Well, I am aware of it, right?
Exactly. So what is experience if you're not aware of it?
It's not there.
Very good.
Yeah.
Are we understanding now that when you were a child, you felt as a child, you thought as a child, you had a body of a child, but you were aware?
Yeah. Yes.
Then you grew up, you know, and you had the baby body had now become a teenager.
Yeah.
So you begin to think like a teenager, feel like a teenager, experience like a teenager, but it was still you, isn't it? Experiencing.
Yeah.
And then you became a man, like you are now, a young man, and you're very different from a teenager. You're much different. Your body has changed. Your values have changed. Your view of life, experiences have changed. But there's one thing that has never changed. One thing that has never, ever, ever changed. The awareness of what you're going through. Got it? You cannot experience, you cannot feel, you cannot emote, emotion that is, unless you're aware it is happening. In other words, if I were to ask you right now, how do you know you exist?
Because I can see, because I feel it.
That's right, because you're aware of it.
Yeah.
You're aware that you exist. So what I'm saying here, which is very important, is that everything changes. The experience of life changes. Your thinking changes. Your emotions are changing. Everything is changing. But one thing that never, ever, ever changes is awareness. Right now I could be looking at a flower.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the beauty of this flower. And it brings me to the moment. So I feel good. I see the miracle of it, the beauty of it, the color of it. And then all of a sudden, like I said before, I become aware of a bill I have to pay. Or something that is, you see, you become disturbed, right? So that emotion, motion of energy, that movement of energy takes me away from the flower. The flower is still there in my hand, but I don't see it anymore. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And the reason I don't see it anymore, it is because my awareness now has been tinged by emotion, motion of energy. It took me away from the moment. Okay? Now, when we talk about emotion, we think of it as something, quote, like you asked me before, is it bad or good? There is no bad or good in anything that we experience. It is all a catalyst, for our growth, for our evolution. But one thing that is very important is that everything changes, but awareness never changes. So all the time we're moving closer and closer to the realization that all that there is awareness. You see, right now you're sitting here, you're totally aware that you're sitting here. You're listening to my words, and you're aware of my words. If, however, something else happens in your mind to take you away from what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
and you go back on a tangent, on a different experience or something else, it takes you away and you're no longer listening. Oh, you might be hearing my words, but you're not really feeling its impact. Okay? Because the pure awareness, still awareness is doing everything. Awareness is creating the emotion, awareness is creating the thoughts, awareness is creating the experiences, but awareness itself is always here now. It's always now. It's always pure. So if something takes you away from the awareness of now, which is awareness itself of the past, or of something that disturbs you, or of an emotion, okay, you're no longer present. You're no longer seeing what is here now. So therefore we call it living in illusion or ego, a conditioned state.
Right. Right.
Okay? But that is still awareness producing it. So
Yeah.
This is important. So what is the difference between a negative emotion and the awareness of it that created it in the first place? See, awareness is always pure. It's always here. I am aware. Is that wonderful? I am being aware, and just sitting in my awareness, I see the wonder, the glory of it, the beauty of it. I'm just here. Can you feel what I'm saying?
Not quite, but I'm trying.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I am following you.
When you're feeling really good,
Yeah.
when you're feeling happy,
Yeah.
when you're feeling in love,
Yeah.
what is it that you are really feeling, honestly feeling?
Contentedness.
And what is contentedness and that warmth? It is
you're just being there.
You're just being here in full awareness. Because full awareness is an emptiness that is full. You see, empty of thought, empty of the past, empty of the future,
Okay.
but it is full in itself.
Okay.
See, that is your true nature, awareness. Now, a few years ago, we were living in the third dimension. Now, the third dimension is made up of height, width, depth of matter,
Mhm.
which meant that we are so aware of matter as real, tangible, we can touch it, that we actually believe that this is all that there is.
Yeah, everybody.
And we never, that's right, and we never understood what produced it is just energy, spirit,
Okay.
atomic energy. I mean, all the great scientists know this, it's a fact. And then, this will more or less answer your question that you started out with. And then we entered the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension came in when we became aware of something a little more than just physical space, which is called emotional feeling. Now that doesn't mean that there was no emotional feeling
Before.
but now it's become very pronounced. People nowadays are more emotional than they've ever been in the past. So, is it good? Is it bad? Neither. It is a movement of energy. It is the evolution of consciousness getting to know itself. So through emotion now, it's true that we live in the past, in our thoughts. We're totally caught in our conditioning. We even blame our parents and our educational system and the way we think and everything else. And then we become very anxious about the future. This is all emotion. Emotion has one thing in common. It's called time consciousness. It lives in time. Okay? So we can call that the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is width, height, depth of matter, and time consciousness.
Oh, okay, I see.
Right. So add the 3 with the 1, you get 4, right?
Right.
Right. So we are living in the fourth dimension. Now, as we begin to explore our emotions, which is the motion of energy, as we were saying, we get more in touch with it. We really begin to feel it. We begin to see that emotions are all coming from what we are aware of. Because awareness is the only thing that is real. Awareness never changes. Awareness was never born. Awareness never dies. And if you were to ask me, Burt, what is my true nature? I will say it is awareness. But then we think of awareness as something very, very small. It is the now itself. But we think of it as, that's it. It is everything. Nothing that ever exists comes from anything but awareness. Awareness is doing everything. That's why we said you are not a doer. It is awareness that does everything through you. However, when we think a negative, it doesn't mean awareness is negative. It means that you've added to awareness an emotion, a past condition, an interpretation, a judgment made upon how you feel about it. And if you feel bad about something, if you judge it as wrong, then what happens is that now you have taken away the purity of that awareness. Okay? Good. It was the buzz there. At the moment, I had to admit that I became aware of
you were
the
distracted.
buzz, and I was distracted.
In your awareness.
Very good, very good. I was still aware of it, but I was aware of the distraction from the now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we begin to see that we are living in a fourth dimension made up of a very feeling nature. In other words, people are more emotional now in the fourth dimension than they've ever been in the past. You see? So now people talk about feelings more. Before, they never did. We talk about, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. You need more compassion, you need more understanding, you need to listen more, you need this, you need that, blah. It's more common than ever, which is actually the feminine principle. The sensitivity is coming more into importance.
Mm-hmm.
As we begin to explore our emotions, we will begin to see, and I'm repeating myself here, is that emotions are produced by what we are aware of, what we're telling ourselves, tinged with our past judgments and, worry, self-concern, etc., all of this. Well, the moment we become aware of that and are willing to release it, every time that we release, quote, a negative emotion, we create a space in us in which an emptiness comes into us to create a feeling